Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2,000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Italian ebook before it's gone.
Welcome to ItalianPod101.com's Italiano in 3 minuti, the fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Italian. Ciao, sono Consuelo, piacere. Hi, I'm Consuelo, nice to meet you. I've just introduced myself in Italian. In this lesson, you are going to learn how to introduce yourself in Italian. There are only 2 sentences to do it, but first, it is important to clarify that in Italian there's a difference between formal and informal speech. Let's now see how Italians introduce themselves in an informal situation, referring to tu, Italian for you. Ciao, sono Consuelo, piacere di conoscerti. Hi, I'm Consuelo, nice to meet you. Ciao, sono Consuelo, piacere di conoscerti. So, you just need to say, ciao, sono, add your name, and then piacere di conoscerti. Ciao, sono Consuelo, piacere di conoscerti. And now, let's see the same sentence during a formal situation, referring to lei, the Italian courtesy form for you. Buongiorno, sono Consuelo Innocenti, piacere di conoscerla. Buongiorno, sono Consuelo Innocenti, piacere di conoscerla. What has changed from the previous introduction? Let's take a look at this. Ciao has been substituted with the formal greeting buongiorno, Italian for good morning. Sono Consuelo has not been changed. Sono stands in both cases for I am. However, during a formal self-introduction, we also say our last name. Consuelo Innocenti are respectively my first and last names. Finally, the sentence piacere di conoscerla has switched conoscerti into conoscerla, since conoscerla is referred to lei, the Italian formal courtesy form for you. So, the formal way to introduce yourself is buongiorno, sono, here add your full name, and then piacere di conoscerla. Buongiorno, sono Consuelo Innocenti, piacere di conoscerla. If you use the correct sentence with Italians, they are definitely going to be impressed. So, ciao, sono Consuelo, piacere.
Hi everybody, Marika here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Italian questions. The question for this lesson is, what is gerundio? Gerundio, or in English, gerund, is a verb non-finite mood. This means that you don't need to conjugate it. It's very similar to the continuous form of English verbs ending in ing. As we said, it's very convenient as you don't need to conjugate it. It only has 2 endings, ando for verbs ending in are and endo for verbs ending in ere and ire. Another reason why it's easy is that it only has 2 tenses, present and past. Here are some verbs in the present gerund. Parlando, talking, from parlare, to talk. Cadendo, falling, from cadere, to fall. Dormendo, sleeping, from dormire, to sleep. To form the past gerund, use the right auxiliary essere, to be, or avere, to have, in the present gerund, plus the past participle of the main verb. Here's the past gerund of the same verbs. avendo parlato, having talked, essendo caduto, having fallen, avendo dormito, having slept. You can use the gerund alone for two actions happening at the same time. Studio ascoltando la musica. I study listening to music. To say why something happens. Essendo stanca, andrò a letto. Being tired, she went to bed. To express a possibility, a hypothesis. Volendo, potremmo andare al cinema. If you wanted to, we could go to the movies. Another way you can use the gerund is combined with the verb stare, to stay, to be. If you combine the present tense of stare and the gerund, you get the present continuous. For example, sto studiando italiano. I am studying Italian. Tu stai leggendo. You are reading. If you combine the imperfect tense of stare and the gerund, you get the past continuous. Stavo studiando italiano. I was studying Italian. Tu stavi leggendo. You were reading. Pretty easy, right? If you have any more questions, please leave us a comment. A presto! See you soon!
Welcome to Can Do Italian by ItalianPod101.com.
Ciao a tutti, sono Felice Angelini. Hi everyone, I am Felice Angelini. In this lesson, you learn how to introduce yourself in Italian.
This is Mark Lee, and he's on a plane to Italy. Paolo Parisi, a passenger sitting next to him, introduces himself by saying, "Hello, I'm Paolo Parisi. Nice to meet you."
Buongiorno, sono Paolo Parisi, piacere.
Listen to the conversation and focus on Mark's response. Ready?
Buongiorno, sono Paolo Parisi, piacere.
Piacere, sono Mark Lee.
Once more, with the English translation.
Buongiorno, sono Paolo Parisi, piacere.
Hello, I'm Paolo Parisi. Nice to meet you.
Piacere, sono Mark Lee.
Nice to meet you. I'm Mark Lee.
Let's take a closer look at Mark's response.
Do you remember how Mark Lee introduces himself? Nice to meet you. I'm Mark Lee.
Piacere, sono Mark Lee.
First is the expression,
Piacere,
meaning a pleasure.
piacere, piacere, piacere,
Is actually a shortened version of,
piacere di conoscerla,
meaning it's a pleasure to meet you.
piacere di conoscerla.
Both Mark and Paolo use the short form
Piacere,
in their introductions. This shortened version can be used in many contexts and is appropriate for both formal and informal situations. Do you remember how Mark says, "I'm Mark Lee"?
Sono Mark Lee.
First is,
sono,
I am.
sono, sono,
Note,
sono,
is a shortened form of,
io sono,
in Italian,
io,
I is usually omitted as it can be understood from context.
sono,
Is from the verb,
essere,
meaning to be.
essere,
Next is the name,
Mark Lee,
Mark Lee.
Mark Lee, Mark Lee,
Together, it's,
Sono Mark Lee.
I'm Mark Lee.
Sono Mark Lee.
The pattern is
Sono, name.
I'm, name.
Sono, name.
To use this pattern, simply replace the name placeholder with your name. Imagine you're Karen Lee. In Italian,
Karen Lee. Karen Lee. Karen Lee.
say, I'm Karen Lee. Ready?
Sono Karen Lee.
I'm Karen Lee.
Sono Karen Lee.
Let's look at some more examples. Listen and repeat, or speak along with the native speakers.
Piacere, sono Paolo Parisi. Piacere, sono Paolo Parisi.
Piacere, sono Mark Lee. Piacere, sono Mark Lee.
Piacere, sono Karen Lee. Piacere, sono Karen Lee.
Piacere, sono Felice Angelini. Piacere, sono Felice Angelini.
Piacere, mi chiamo Rosa Romano. Piacere, mi chiamo Rosa Romano.
Did you notice how the last speaker uses a different pattern?
She says,
Mi chiamo Rosa Romano.
My name is Rosa Romano.
Mi chiamo Rosa Romano.
This pattern uses the phrase,
Mi chiamo.
which literally means I myself call, but translates as my name is.
Mi chiamo. Mi chiamo.
First is,
Mi.
meaning me.
Mi. Mi.
After this is,
Chiamo.
meaning I call.
Chiamo. Chiamo.
Note,
Chiamo.
is the shortened form of,
Io chiamo.
in Italian,
Io.
I is usually omitted,
Chiamo.
is from the verb
Chiamare.
to call.
Chiamare.
Next is the name,
Rosa Romano.
Rosa Romano.
Rosa Romano. Rosa Romano.
Altogether,
Mi chiamo Rosa Romano.
literally, myself I call Rosa Romano, but it translates as my name is Rosa Romano.
Mi chiamo Rosa Romano.
The pattern is,
Mi chiamo. Name.
my name is, name.
Mi chiamo. Name.
You should be aware of this pattern, but for this lesson, we'll use the pattern
Sono. Name.
I'm, name.
Sono. Name.
Let's review the key vocabulary.
Buongiorno.
Hello,
Buongiorno. Buongiorno. Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. Then repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say, nice to meet you? Piacere. Piacere. And the Italian pronunciation of Mark Lee's name? Mark Lee. Mark Lee. Do you remember how Mark Lee says, I'm Mark Lee? Sono Mark Lee. Sono Mark Lee. And do you remember how Mark Lee says, "Nice to meet you, I'm Mark Lee"?
Piacere, sono Mark Lee.
Piacere, sono Mark Lee. Do you remember how Paolo Parisi says, "Hello"? Buongiorno. Buongiorno. Do you remember how Paolo Parisi says, "Hello, I'm Paolo Parisi. Nice to meet you"?
Buongiorno, sono Paolo Parisi, piacere.
Buongiorno, sono Paolo Parisi. Piacere.
Let's practice. Imagine you're Karen Lee.
Karen Lee.
Respond to Paolo Parisi's self-introduction. Ready?
Buongiorno, sono Paolo Parisi, piacere.
Piacere, sono Karen Lee.
Listen again and repeat.
Piacere, sono Karen Lee. Piacere, sono Karen Lee.
Let's try another. Imagine you're Rosa Romano.
Rosa Romano.
Ready?
Buongiorno, sono Paolo Parisi, piacere.
Piacere, sono Rosa Romano.
Listen again and repeat.
Piacere, sono Rosa Romano. Piacere, sono Rosa Romano.
Let's try one more. Imagine you're Felice Angelini.
Felice Angelini.
Ready?
Buongiorno, sono Paolo Parisi, piacere. Piacere, sono Felice Angelini.
Listen again and repeat.
Piacere, sono Felice Angelini. Piacere, sono Felice Angelini.
In casual situations, you can also use this pattern with just your first name. For example, in the case of Karen Lee, you can simply say, "Sono Karen." "I'm Karen." "Sono Karen." This is the end of this lesson.
Remember, these can-do lessons are about learning practical language skills. What's next? Show us what you can do. When you're ready, take your assessment. You can take it again and again, so try anytime you like. Our teachers will assess it and give you your results.
Well done! Now you know how to introduce yourself in Italian. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson. This is the end of this lesson.
Now, here's what you can do to cement this conversation in your head. Review the conversation with our dialogue tool and lesson transcripts. Study the key words and phrases with our spaced repetition flashcards. Review the key grammar and cultural tips inside the lesson notes. And test yourself with our assessment tests. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to access our Can-Do course.
Well done! Now you know how to introduce yourself in Italian. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Hi everybody, Marika here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Italian questions. The question for this lesson is, what are modified nouns? In Italian, you can modify nouns. That allows you to convey feelings such as love, hate, or irony in a concise and effective way. Modified nouns, called nomi alterati, can take different endings that convey different feelings. They are usually divided into categories. Let's see which ones. To describe something positively or negatively, you can use pezzeggiativi and dispregiativi. Pezzeggiativi express endearment. Some common suffixes are uccio and ino. For example, tesoruccio, sweetheart, gattino, kitten. Dispregiativi express dislike. Common suffixes are accio and astro. For example, scarpaccia, ugly shoe, giovinastro, loud. To describe the aspect of something, you can use accrescitivi and diminutivi. Accrescitivi indicate a big size. The most common suffix is one. For example, ragazzone, big boy, nasone, big nose. Diminutivi indicate smallness. Common suffixes are ino, etto, otto, ello. For example, topino, little mouse, bacetto, small kiss, leprotto, small hair, alberello, little tree. Be aware of fake modified nouns, or falsi alterati. These are words that look like modified nouns but mean a total different thing. Matto means crazy person, but mattone is not a big crazy man, it's a brick. And mulino means mill, not a small mule, that's mulo. Italian children often learn funny nursery rhymes in school about these false modified nouns. Here is one I just invented. Ready? Take note. La gomma per cancellare, il gommone per andare al mare. Col burro puoi cucinare, ma del burrone non scivolare. Se vedi un lampo, c'è il temporale. Se vedi un lampone, lo puoi mangiare. Which means the eraser to erase, the raft to go out to the sea. With butter you can cook, but don't sleep on the ravine. If you see lightning, that's a storm. If you see a raspberry, you can eat it. Pretty fun, right? Do you know any other false modifying noun? Let us know in the comments. A presto! See you soon!
Want to master grammar so you can speak properly, express yourself better, and understand more? In this video, I'll show you how to master grammar with our lessons and learning program. Let's begin. Number 1. Listen to the lesson conversations and explanations. In every lesson, you learn a conversation. Then, our teachers break down every word and grammar rule. So you're actually learning grammar rules in the context of conversations, and you can easily see how they're used. Once you're done, review the conversation again and again to remember what you've learned. Number 2. Read the bonus explanations and tutorials. With the lesson notes, you get extra grammar explanations and examples that are not presented in the lesson. After you're done with the lesson, read the lesson notes for extra review. You can even save them as PDFs so that you can access them anytime. Number 3. Leave a comment on the lesson. Once you've learned a grammar point, be sure to use it. Leave a comment in the comments section. Write some example sentences for practice. Our teachers will review your comment and give you feedback. Number 4. Unlock even more grammar lessons. If you want to find all of the grammar lessons available, visit our lesson library. Under Category, choose Grammar. You'll get all of the pathways and lessons dedicated to helping you learn and master sentence patterns and grammar points. So, if you're ready to finally learn a new language the fast, fun, and easy way, sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Signing up takes less than 30 seconds, and you'll start speaking from your very first lesson. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share it with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Hi everybody, Marika here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Italian questions. The question for this lesson is, what are masculine and feminine nouns and how are they different? In Italian, all nouns have a gender. A noun can either be masculine or feminine. That applies to plural nouns too, and to all the words that can modify nouns, such as articles and adjectives. Other Romance languages have similar system of masculine and feminine nouns. It's a trait that comes from Latin. The gender depends on the origin of the Latin word. English doesn't have masculine and feminine nouns though. So the easiest way for English speakers to tell a noun's gender is by looking at the last letter of the noun. If a noun ends with O in the singular and E in the plural, it's usually masculine. If a noun ends with A in the singular and E in the plural, it's usually feminine. For example, sedia, meaning chair, ends with an A, so it's feminine. La sedia. In the plural, le sedie. Libro, meaning book, ends with an O, so it's masculine. Il libro. And in the plural, I libri, ending with an I. The OI for masculine and AE for feminine rule doesn't always work though. Most of the time, but not always. There are some exceptions like la moto, meaning the bike, which is feminine, and il problema, meaning the problem, which is actually masculine. To make things even more complicated, there is a third class of nouns ending with E in the singular and I in the plural. These can be masculine or feminine depending on the word. That's why it's important to learn nouns and their respective genders together with the right definite articles. The definite articles are different from each gender, so they'll help you remember. For example, take bicchiere, meaning glass, which is in that third category of nouns ending in E. The right article for bicchiere is il, so il bicchiere is masculine. How about nave, meaning ship? The right article for this one is la, so la nave is feminine. Again, there is unfortunately no formula to find the right gender. The Latin origins of words go way back, and often people don't know why some words have a certain gender today. Your best guide is going to be our first rule, singular O and plural I for masculine, and singular A, plural E for feminine. Just try to memorize the articles with the nouns, and before you know it, the gender classifications will come naturally to you. Woo! That's it for this lesson. Please send in any more questions you have, and I'll try to answer them. A presto, see you soon!
Ciao a tutti, sono Consuelo. Hi everybody, I'm Consuelo and welcome back to ItalianPod101.com's Italiano in 3 minuti, the fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Italian. In the last lesson, we learned how to introduce ourselves in Italian. As good manners are always a must, this time we are going to learn how to thank people. So, siete pronti? Are you ready? Cominciamo! Let's start! There are several ways to thank someone. Let's start with the easiest. It's just one word. Grazie. Grazie. Grazie means thank you. When saying thank you very much, you just need to add tante or mille, like grazie tante or grazie mille. Grazie tante or grazie mille. Tante means a lot and mille means 1,000. Thank you 1,000 times. During the last lesson, we mentioned both the formal and informal way of speaking Italian. If you want to be more formal when thanking someone, you should say la ringrazio. La ringrazio. That was the formal way to say thank you when referring to lei, the Italian courtesy form for you. Ringraziare is the infinitive form of the verb to give thanks, to be grateful. How to answer? It's easy. There are basically two different ways to do it. The first is prego. Prego means you're welcome. The other way to say you're welcome is the expression non c'è di che. Non c'è di che means there's nothing about it. So, when someone is saying grazie to you, we can simply reply with prego or non c'è di che. Sometimes we can say them both, like prego, non c'è di che. For example, if someone is giving you something, grazie mille.
Prego.
Now it's time for Consuelo's tips. Remember, when in doubt, when it is more appropriate to use grazie or la ringrazio, keep it simple is always your safest bet. If you're not sure whether to use the formal or casual version, you can always simply say grazie. So, grazie mille a tutti. Thank you very much, everybody. Do you know what arrivederci means? In the next lesson, you'll learn this and more greetings in Italian. Ciao, grazie, alla prossima lezione!
Hi everybody, Marika here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I will answer some of your most common Italian questions. The question for this lesson is, essere o avere? How can I choose the right auxiliary verb in compound verbs? In Italian, when forming compound tenses, such as the present perfect or passato prossimo, you'll need an auxiliary verb. This will either be essere, to be, or avere, to have. In English, you don't have to make this choice, as you only need to have. That's why deciding which auxiliary to use in Italian can be a bit difficult at first. Let's have a look at some rules that will help you choose the right auxiliary. The first thing you need to remember is that transitive verbs always need avere. Let's see some examples. Io ho mangiato una mela. I have eaten an apple. Mangiare, to eat, is a transitive verb, meaning that it can have a direct object. Giorgio ha guardato un film. Giorgio has watched a movie. Guardare, to watch, is also transitive. Abbiamo conosciuto Laura. We have met Laura. Conoscere, to meet, is also transitive. Reflexive verbs, on the other hand, always use essere. Let's see an example. Mi sono innamorato. I have fallen in love. Innamorarsi, to fall in love, is reflexive. Verbs in the passive form also use essere. La mela è stata mangiata. The apple has been eaten. È stata mangiata, meaning has been eaten, is a passive form of mangiare, to eat. What about intransitive verbs? Some use essere and others avere. Although there are no set rules, here are some things you can look out for. For example, intransitive verbs of movement always use essere, such as andare, to go, and arrivare, to arrive. Here are two sample sentences. Ieri sono andata a Venezia. Yesterday I went to Venice. Siete arrivati tardi. You have arrived late. On the other hand, intransitive verbs of movement, where the destination doesn't need to be mentioned, always use avere. Some examples are camminare, to walk, or viaggiare, to travel. A few sample sentences. Abbiamo camminato tanto. We have walked a lot. Ho viaggiato in treno. I've traveled by train. One last thing. There are some cases where both essere and avere are acceptable. This mainly happens with verbs about the weather: piovere, to rain; nevicare, to snow; grandinare, to hail; tuonare, to thunder. So you can say è piovuto, but also ha piovuto. Both means it has rained. Pretty interesting, right? If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below. A presto, see you soon!
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Italian ebook before it's gone.